You check your balance all the time, but how often do you stop and look at the money you use every day? What do you know about the security features on your money? Did you know that microprinting is the most secure feature there is? With the print head about 1 millimeter in diameter, it's almost impossible to recreate this feature. Let's go to an expert in the field.
Well, my name is Tom Huberts. I'm a science teacher. I teach biology and forensic science. Forensic science is a course that I started about 3 or 4 years ago. We have a small unit in our handwriting and document analysis chapter that deals with counterfeiting. We use the United States Treasury website. Has a really good bit of information on there about what's on our money that helps to protect it. There are quite a few features that are noted on there as ways that our currency is protected, microprinting one of them. We always have an interesting discussion about this in classes. Are there things in the currency that aren't told to us that help to protect it? And I think that's probably true. I don't think they tell us everything that's in there. I mean, it wouldn't make sense that they would. But the United States Treasury puts out on their website a bunch of stuff that is in our money that protects it. Microprinting, it's found on, I believe, 5s, 10s, 20s, and above. It's very, very small printing. It's used as a way to protect money and make it harder to counterfeit. I don't know exactly how it's done, but they have special printers that print that small that the majority of printers, pretty much all printers, can't copy. The printing is so small you can't see it with your own eyes. A lot of times it's around the portrait of the bill, sometimes it's around the edges of the bill. It normally says something particular to the bill, something like 5 or 10 or United States of America. The benefit is, just like I said, to make the bill harder to counterfeit, because many printers wouldn't even have the capability of producing font that small. With any magnifying device, even something as small as a small hand lens or ocular lens, that it can be read and figured out what it is. It's nothing that's hidden, so you can find out where it's at and what it says, what type of font, and you could, if you're willing to spend a lot of money and get a printer that could reproduce the microprinting, it would be something that I want to say would be easy to do, but it'd be easy to figure out what it is. As a biologist, I think potentially they may use the technology to print out information about a person's genome or what's in their genes in order to keep that information in a small amount of space. They may need to use technology to write very small.
How do you think microprinting will be used in the future? Could you imagine a 100-page book being printed on a little piece of paper? Or how about thousands of years of history printed in a small book? The possibilities are endless.
Every semester that we look at money, people find the microprinting in different spots. We don't often have students bring in 50s and 100s, but when we do, it's interesting. A couple times we have where students can detect the microprinting in there. Other than that, you know, just trying to get a closest look. The best microscope to use would be a stereo microscope, because the light comes from above and it allows you to see three-dimensional, not that you'd need to for microprinting, whereas a compound microscope, as you're looking through something, the light comes down from the bottom. But there's plenty of magnification in a stereo microscope. Really enough magnification that most people can detect microprinting with a magnifying glass. Well, I think it's important that students realize that this is a serious issue, that over $80 million a year in counterfeit money is found, and that's only what's found. So counterfeiting isn't something that's just thought about, it's actually done quite a bit. I know recently I've gone into stores, just a grocery store up in the village here, with dollar bills to buy something, and the lady's taking the pen out to test them with the starch iodine reaction pen and to find out if they're real or fake. And I've never had anybody do that with ones before, because most of the time if somebody's going to counterfeit, it's going to be a bigger bill and more bang for the buck. And she said that they're starting to see quite a few incidents of, you know, these smaller bills being counterfeited. So Students ask me every year, or seem to have the idea that it can be a victimless crime. So people are producing counterfeit money. Good for them. They're getting away with it. They're doing what they can to try and better themselves. And even though it's illegal, some people don't see anything necessarily wrong with that. I think that when they start asking questions about it, they see where it gets to be more and more of a problem. Like if you take a $50 bill you might have got from your grandmother for your birthday, you go in to buy something nice with it, and it turns out if it's counterfeit, you don't get to buy the thing nice. They take the $50 and they don't give you another $50 in exchange of it. So if you're in possession of counterfeit bills, even if they're not yours, you know, they're worthless, and they get confiscated. So it's a situation where, you know, everybody loses, except for the person counterfeiting.
Can microprinting really help this? Only time can tell. But remember, next time you think about counterfeiting, think about the consequences. Not only is it time-consuming and expensive, it's illegal.